And presenting in the Library of Graphic Literature with your host, Loki.
Yay! And Loki gets thrown out of the studio. And here we are
Hi, I'm Luna.
our host.
Today, we are here to talk about the comics. And here's your host, Wallace Ryan.
Yay! Co-host again. That Loki. He is quite he's very photogenic.
Yeah.
Although it's hard to get him because where he's all black, it's hard to, unless you get the light on his face. He disappears into darkness. He's like the shadow, right? Anyway, today we're going to talk about
Not Loki.
Not Loki, but one of my favorite artists who never drew Loki, a guy by the name of Jim Aparo, and we're just looking at his early work because I never really did like his later works, but so it's just like this is early Aparo. And this guy was a favorite of mine. I think very underrated. He was born in, August 24th, 1932. Is my sister's birthday too, funny enough, in Connecticut. And he did some, he started out in advertising, and he sort of came late to comics. And there was this guy, Dick Gordana, who'd seen his stuff and got him to work for Carlton. And for Carlton, well, he did a bunch of stuff, but he was best known for the Phantom. He did a great series of the Phantom, right? He had sort of really neat, realistic style to him.
Oh, yeah.
And he was one of the few artists who actually did his own lettering. Which still to this day, well, except for artists who do everything, right? So, I mean, love that. But then he went, in the late 60s, this guy, Dick Gordana, went to D.C. and he dragged good old Jim with him, and he started him out on Aquaman.
Nice transition.
Yeah. Now this is not, your Jason Momoa Aquaman, but I mean, I love the covers, by the way. The covers were all done by this guy Nick Hardy, and they were all really dramatic, right? Mm-hmm. Like this one, right?
Great crotch shot.
Great crotch shot. Oh yeah. But this was and he was. I thought he was great on this series. I'm just wondering if they included the covers. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, this guy did all the covers, even though Jim did the inside parts, but they were all great. But or like that.
Ooh, fishy.
Very, very cool. Oh, here's another one here. Or like that. Mhm. Like that, this, folks. I mean, now that's dramatic, but the inside artwork was fabulous. I loved his.
Did he do this one too?
Yeah, well, he did. There's this version, then he continues on to this. This also has another famous artist, Neil Adams, does stuff in this. And this, it was great. It was great. This is basically late 60s, early 70s, I do believe. I can't remember when he was. 1970, and eventually it was cancelled, unfortunately. But then he reappeared in Adventure Comics, Aquaman, later on being drawn by Jim again, and he had a nice sort of second run on the character. And this is where you have the famous death of there's a couple done by someone else.
Show the people.
The death of Aquababy. or basically
Aquababy.
The prince, right?
That was one of my usernames.
Yeah. Well, it's and this is a great series, and this was the last time he did Aquaman, but love that Aquaman. Okay, and we'll start. Oh yeah, let's put that over there. Now, and this is what I've been waiting for actually. This I acquired recently.
Ooh, it's heavy.
And it is bloody heavy, isn't it?
Omnibus. The Phantom Stranger.
Da-da-da-da. And the Phantom Stranger, he's this guy who sort of mysteriously appears. He's almost like a narrator, more or less, in the start, but then he becomes an active character and all that. He's a mysterious guy who shows up here and there, and somehow, with mystical powers, helps things turn out, and then he just disappears.
He's giving Tuxedo Mask vibes.
Oh yeah. Well, he got and once again, Jim did a huge run on him, because after they canceled him Aquaman, he went on to this, and the covers, a lot of the covers were done by this guy Neil Adams on this. The covers were fabulous, but the inside artwork by Jim was still some of my favorite.
I don't
right?
think they can see it from that far.
Oh yeah, and from that angle. But yes, Jim, he great drawing, great storytelling chops. Loved his lettering, and his splash pages were always top notch. And he had a long run on the Phantom Stranger. Like I say, the Phantom Stranger, besides having the great inside Jim Aparo artwork, it had the great covers by Neil Adams on the outside. Like there, a lot of them. I think there was a Jim Aparo variant cover for that omnibus, but I didn't go for it because I liked that one. All right. Now, the only time, I was wondering why it was so dark in here. The only time he won, well, he did win a couple of awards, but his first big award he won because when he was doing, I think it was Phantom Stranger, he didn't have enough work to go around, right?
It's nice art.
Oh yeah.
With the style.
Now this is a great thing about all the early basically horror comics from DC. It's great art in the early ones, but from all kinds of people. But this one included. Oh look, I'm after passing by here somewhere. He won an award for a story. Where is it? There's I knew I should put a bookmark in it. Yeah, here we go. The Demon Within. He did the story.
Don't we all have one of those?
Yes. And this one, he won him and John Albano won the Shazam Award for best short story, I think it was. So that was his. I mean, he did a lot of great work, but it's funny that was the only Shazam Award he won. Because this coming up next, this is what I absolutely loved him for. My brother Jeff, who didn't read a lot of comics, he did read this one, the Spectre. Now this is not quite as heavy.
Oh, the back art is pretty cool too.
Yeah. And the Spectre, basically, he was a cop who returns from the grave and takes out revenge on all kinds of people. That guy who did those cool covers, he did a few issues himself of this character.
Oh, okay.
Very early on. Like this, I love this cover here. The same cover artist, that one, like that one.
Okay.
But anyway, and they go through a bunch of different artists, but then Aparo comes on, and when they revive him in the 70s in Adventure Comics, where he was eventually supplanted by Aquaman.
So who's Jim Aparo?
He's the artist, right?
Yeah.
The artist and the artist and letterer. One of my favorite artists of all time, I would say.
Is that why the next two books feature him?
Oh, well, these are all Jim Aparo. So check out that one.
Okay.
I mean, the Spectre was a spooky character, and it'd always find a way to kill off the bad guy in some really weird way. Like this is in a hijacking on a plane, and the lights go out, and when the lights come back on, there's just a skeleton left of him there sitting. Right? There are always really gory ways he'd do away with the bad guys, and my brother Jeff, he loved it. Oh, well, here, and here's him killing some Nazis.
Yes.
And he always, like I say, I always found. This was always one of my favorite. Batman and the Spectre was the story.
That's what I'm waiting to get to.
Okay. Well, okay, yes. So now he also did a nice run on Batman. In the Brave and the Bold title, which the Brave and the Bold was basically Batman and a guest star. All right, someone along with him. Like, let's just have a look here. Like Batman and Green Arrow, Batman and this would be Batman and Batman and Green Lantern and Green Arrow. Let's see other ones here, and these are all, of course, by Jim Aparo here. Batman.
Very nicely done.
Yeah, Batman and Metamorpho and Plastic Man. Let's see what other ones. Batman and the Teen Titans Batman and Dead Man, Batman and Wonder Woman, and this is where I actually fell in love with him, was on this title. He does a great Batman. His Batman is that he does the tall the Batman with the tall ears, which I always liked, right? And Batman and the Demon. This was one. Actually, this was. I think this was one of the earliest ones I had with. Oh yeah, and especially when they were in the 100-page format, where you get all these extra stories thrown in for free.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Jim ruled. I mean, look at that artwork.
And then there's this.
Yeah, and this is continuing along. Oh, let me just cut in front of you again, just to throw this over there. And this is a continuation of where we left off with this. This one I throw in because this has a lot of my favorite single issues, and I was a fan of his right up until about the 80s, and just something changed with his inking. I just, never really followed him beyond that. I mean, I did buy some comics buy him here and there, but for the most part, I just stuck to the other Batman comics and that. But I mean, he was still good for a good few years. And last but not least, I brought this up because he did the Batman series Bat Murderer, where Batman is framed for the murder of Talia, the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, and it was just no, he didn't draw the entire series, but he did do. Once again, I should have marked this before.
How come his name is not on it?
What's that? Oh well, this one is more a collection of Len Wein's books, but this is one in which Len Wein did the writing, but he did the art. As a matter of fact, I think it's right at the start. Yeah, this is the Bat Murderer.
Okay.
And I love the just a very dramatic scenes and all that, and he gets framed for this murder, and it looks like he shoots her in the back, and but as we learn later on, I hate to spoil the story, but the gun was rigged to look like it shot, and she had they basically faked it, right?
Oh.
And this was one of his last Batman, at least in the Detective Comics, there for a while. Mm-hmm. One of the last ones that I really liked. There's Ra's al Ghul. There, who was so much cooler in the comics than in the movies, I thought, right? I mean, Liam Neeson, I mean, he's cool. He looks pretty cool, but Oh no, and then there was this one.
Slaughter and Silver.
Silver, But yeah, Aparo was interesting because he was the only one, like I say, one of the few artists who actually lettered his own artwork. So it gave his artwork a certain look to it too, right?
Je ne sais quoi.
Je ne sais quoi, oui. Now next week we have, because I already got the books picked out for this, it's going to be like a heavy metal week, and it's basically because I got this one book, Den, by Richard Corbin, which was in heavy metal. So I figured, well, I'll throw in like all the other books that I can find in here that have stuff from heavy metal in it, which I do have a lot of. So I'll have a stack about this high. So we'll have a look at the Den and then just quick look through all the other stuff, right?
Yes.
And it will be pretty cool. Anyways, well, they got to meet Loki. I guess we're gonna have Lila on next. Oh, she's gonna be trouble, won't she? Maybe we could bring her in like in a box, or if you get that backpack with the bubble in it.
Next distraction, please.
Anyway, thanks for having us over. It's a beautiful day outside. It's actually very warm here today. It's like a summer's day, isn't it?
I have to put on the fan soon.
Yeah. So it's very unusual to be this warm up here. Anyway, that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us over. Bye.